few years ago, two years ago, Mindy and I moved here, drove cross country, got here on Saturday night, and I remember the first time that I decided to run the DipSea. Like I said, we got here on Saturday night, and these two guys were talking about this race called the DipSea. They knew that I ran cross country and track in high school, but I hadn't run in over a year. I thought, you know what, I'll do this. They said, you know, it's just 7 miles, so these 2 hills, you can do this. It's a really cool race. You finish it at the ocean. So I wake up the next morning, 6 a.m., get out of bed, head down to the race. It was the most grueling race I'd ever been in. But the two guys failed to mention that it was over Mount Tam. I didn't realize how tall this mountain was to start running up it. I had to sit down a few times, had to stop and walk. My body was so tired. When I get towards the end, I just sat down on the side of the road. I just didn't want to go anymore. I finally made it to the car and fell asleep in the car. I was so tired. Well, a few weeks ago, I decided that I was going to run the DipSea this year. I filled out my registration. I was down at the Mill Valley Post Office and sent it in. But before I made this decision, I realized that deciding to run this race was going to require some things of me. That's going to take me arranging my life in order to do the best that I can. I realized that one of the most precious things we have is time, and that I was going to have to create some time in my life in order to run. Whether it be a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, to just run and to train for this race. I also realized that when I decided to run the DipSea, that in training it hurts to get back in shape, and that my muscles will ache, be short of breath, I want to stop on runs, but it was going to be a lot of work. I also realized that I was going to have to change my eating habits, that what I was eating was probably not the most healthiest for me. I was going to have to give up the Mountain Dew, I was going to have to give up potato chips, cut back on them at least, and eat more fruits, eat more calories, the right kind of calories, in order to train for this race. Training for this race is not going to be easy. It's going to require some work. But I also know that I hope this doesn't just become about a race, it becomes a lifestyle for me. You know, it's like the spiritual life in a sense that it takes more than just saying, yeah, I will do this. It actually takes doing it. It actually takes creating space, for me, creating space in my life to learn about God in a personal time. Training for a race is a process. It's not just a one run, it's not just a one-time deal. It's a process. It takes work, it takes rearranging your life to meet the goals you set out to achieve.